Welcome, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining in today. We are going to give it about 5 minutes here to let people get joined in. So we are going to get started right at 5:05 on the nose Eastern time. Appreciate all of you who are on time. Want to really quickly, I'm going to go ahead and drop something amazing for you guys, at least from a knowledge standpoint and potentially value. We are switching the format of these Zoom calls a little bit, and in a good way. You're not going to notice a change, but it's important for those of you who are on time that you tell everyone else, give them a little bit of FOMO, ask them to join, because in the first 5 minutes of these Zoom calls, we are going to be providing additional value by giving free stuff. So some days we may do snapshots, some days we may do quick tips, but these are going to be things that people don't get if they're not on time. So make sure that you join in exactly at 5 o'clock. If you get here before 5:05, you get the bonuses. If you join the Zoom after 5:05, those links will disappear and you won't have access to it. Courtney, next week we are giving away a snapshot on at least one of our calls. So be sure to join in as many as you can. We have 9 total calls next week, 10 if you include the high-level bonus AI call that is right before, a little bit before this, the Vibe with Nuno. So we have, again, that's 10 total calls next week, and that's when we're kicking off our massive coaching program. And I really encourage everyone to join in and be a part of these webinars. There's a big value to you. There's a value to the community. There's a value to everybody who's going to watch this in the recording on YouTube afterwards, just because, you know, when people are engaged with the hosts, when people engage with these webinars, it really just drives more participation, more knowledge, and everyone has the same questions that you may ask. They just may be afraid to ask it, so don't be afraid. Like I said, we're just going to give it 2 more minutes here, and then I will introduce our special guest who will be co-hosting with me moving forward, and we will get started. How's everyone doing? Feel free to unmute yourself and we can chit chat a little bit. Hope everyone's having a great day and is ready for the weekend. I know I'm excited. How are you doing, Melissa?
Hi, I was just wondering, I feel like I only have a few of the calls. Where do I get like the full information about all of the calls? Is there a place?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me drop the link in the Zoom chat.
Okay, thank you.
And we are setting up a community and a bunch of other things on top of this. So you'll be able to ask coaches questions. You'll be able to see live recordings in the community, so you don't have to go hunt through YouTube. There's a lot of stuff that I'm going to be doing over the next couple months to really amp up this coaching program and make sure that you guys get the most value possible. That's why we went from 3 calls a week to 9 calls a week. So, and why I brought on 8 total coaches plus myself, making 9 coaches. And my goal is to stack every hour of the day with value and, you know, really bring to life all of this knowledge that is being passed and available. So we are right at 5:05, guys. Thank you for joining. Let me go ahead and kick off my share really quick. So just bear with me 1 second. I'm going to hit my live stream so I can get this on Facebook. And I'm going to do SaaS and business coaching with Master Farah Patel, the GOAT of HighLevel. And I am going to make this public and hit go live. And we will be live in 5, 4, 3, 2. Facebook takes forever. And I'm going to start using Restream. I actually just signed up for it a couple hours ago. So you'll be able to see this more than just on Zoom. Let me go ahead and pop open that window and make sure that it is on mute. So I will get that done more than just perfect. We are on mute and we are ready to rock, everybody. So welcome to our Friday SaaS and Business Coaching with greatest of all time, the GOAT, Farah Patel. We are going to be talking SaaS and business. So moving forward, Fur will be co-coaching this call with me. And ultimately, my goal is to let the birdie leave the nest and take calls. All of the coaches will take their own calls directly. But I want to give everyone a quick update. We have, like I was saying earlier, for those of you who are watching on the live stream or watching this recorded, we have 9 total coaching calls. You can find those coaching calls on go.hlprotools.com/coaching. Again, that's go.hlprotools.com/coaching. And those 9 coaching calls are run by 9 different coaches. So you aren't stuck with little old boring me for every single call. You'll get a little bit of variety. And we talk about everything from troubleshooting high level to how to run your business. We include sales calls. We have customer demos. We've got customer service training, so you can learn how to handle difficult clients in difficult situations. You can learn all about advanced AI tactics. You can learn about how to create powerful snapshots and document them properly as well. There's just seriously so much value that we're packing into these calls. But without further ado, thank you so much for joining today. So for those of you that don't know Fur, which I believe everyone on this call knows who Fur is because he's like the new Sean Clark of the new Slim Shady of HighLevel. Fur has a background in fintech and has been in the startup space for quite some time. He's an absolute expert on HighLevel. He actually works directly for the HighLevel team as director of special projects. So he is the one who makes things happen at HighLevel. But his focus today is going to be to teach us some knowledge about how to start a business and operate it efficiently. So without further ado, Fur, I will turn it over to you. Make sure, audience, if you have questions, whether you're in the Facebook chat or in the Zoom chat, feel free to raise your hand and ask questions both live and in the chat. I'll keep an eye on those. And yeah, let's get started.
All right, thanks for the introduction and throwing me right into it. So just to give context, an hour ago, Mario says, "Hey, you joining my Zoom call?" I'm like, "What Zoom call?" It's like, "Oh, we're starting coaching." I'm like, "Okay, sure, why not? Let's jump on." I've cleared my evening. Let's go. So
I like to take the Band-Aid off and just tear it up.
So I don't have any subject to talk about to start. If anyone has questions, just start with questions. I'll just start, blabbing on random things. So I guess I'll give background of where I come from. All right, we got a question. Yes, we'll drive that way. Let's go.
You can share your background first if you want.
All right, sure. I'll share some background so you get more context where I come from. So I've been an entrepreneur for pretty much 20 years. I've had my own. Shut up. So I've had my own companies. I launched my own companies. I've scaled them. I grew them. I was in the fintech space. About 7 years ago, I shifted spaces. Fintech means financial technology, so payment processing, wallets, gateways, name it, in foreign exchange, all the stuff on the payment side. That's pretty much where I came from. Then I did a lifestyle shift, business shift. I shifted into marketing. Fintech is very heavily regulated, compliance, regulations, government, partners, banking. There's so many layers in between, and you need a lot of money to show that you're a serious player, or else banks and partners don't take you seriously. That's the world that you live in the fintech space. So you got to get VC funded, or else it's hard to compete in that space unless you have financial backing. Whereas, I did a shift into the marketing world about 7 years ago, pre-HighLevel or around HighLevel period, before they even started. I did a shift and I started with, I guess like many people, or many people might realize this, is I got an ad one day about ClickFunnels, get this .com secrets book. I'm like, what is this? So then I just kept, it skimmed it, came to my feed, kept retargeting me. Well, all right, you know what? I'm getting more into marketing. Let me get this book. So I started in that space. And once I started getting more and more into marketing, this is going to sound, kind of odd, but marketing was so much easier than fintech. And if you just know how to talk to people, how to resonate with people, marketing or selling is super easy overall. So I started my own agency back then with ClickFunnels, with ActiveCampaign, I used HubSpot back then as well. Zapier combination, Google Sheets. So, I had a whole plethora of tool sets I'm integrating together, ManyChat as well. So I built a lot of tools integrated together, and I focused in the restaurant niche space as well as real estate at the beginning. And the way I approach a lot of it was, more consultative versus selling. And I'll just talk to them. What are your issues? How can I help you? And where can I help you out? That's pretty much where I was. And based on the conversation, so I a lot of times I took the anti-sales approach. Like, I'm not trying to sell you. Like, if we don't work together, it doesn't fit, I don't care. I'm gonna walk away from this relationship because I don't want you entering into a relationship that you feel like you're forced into. You have to want to work with me versus me trying to sell to you. So I always took a very anti-sales approach to them. Like, oh, you sure you want to go forward? You change your mind right now. So, so far, so in I guess the clients I brought on board, the early stages, I think I was batting 100 because but at the same time, there are a lot of warm referrals. Referrals came through and I closed every single one of them. And I worked with some franchise clients as well, which they loved what I was doing for their franchise location. Then they stole my ideas and incorporated at headquarters across all the franchises based on the success I gave one of their franchises. Well, that's a different story. I didn't really care because in the end, clients are clients. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some, but I don't ever delve in the past. Issue ever happens, like, cool, move on. I'm not going to fight for it. I'm not going to make an issue over it because there's so much more energy focusing on solving other pain points and working with newer clients. So that's kind of my background. Then HighLevel came apart. I saw an ad somewhere. I'm like, what is HighLevel? So I clicked on the ad. I went to the HighLevel's webpage, looked at it. I'm like, no, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to learn yet another tool. That was like going to be the 8th or 9th tool in my toolkit. Like, forget it. I came back a month later. I watched the video, the 30-minute video walkthrough that Robin was doing, walking through everyone. I'm like, I don't understand what this is all about. So again, I bounced out. I didn't even follow through with it. Then I was part of a mastermind in the real estate space, and they gave me access to a sub account. This is all through Zapier. They create a sub account location for me. I got access to it. Then I went into it. Now I have a free account, so let me play with it. You don't have that stress or the burden of trying to make, financial, like, I got to figure this out right away. So I had a chance to take my time the first 2 months, play with it. Then I realized how powerful the platform was. So at that moment, as soon as I had that epiphany moment, I started shifting all my real estate clients from the current setup I had using a whole combination of ClickFunnels, ActiveCampaign, Zapier, shifted everyone into HighLevel because now I was able to leverage their concept of a snapshot. And then I did the same thing for my review management customers. I rebuilt something onto HighLevel, my own review management snapshot, and we canceled out one of our vendors that we were using, paying about $3,500 a month, and brought it down to our cost of HighLevel itself. So it's kind of my background, my journey into HighLevel itself. So now I will pause and take your question now. Hope I didn't shift topics too much for you, Andrea. Go ahead.
No, I have a bunch of random questions. I know in our side group, they always say, don't wait for the call to ask, but sometimes it's just easier to ask on the call. And I don't know if we're sharing screens or not, but some questions you might just be able to answer off the top of your head. So one is a curiosity question. When I'm looking at my funnel pages, before I click edit at the bottom, I've done the settings, I've done the publishing. It says my website /home, but then at the top it says /home 4685204. Like, what is that? Does it matter? Why does it do that?
Okay, it does that because there's a proper technical answer for this, which I don't know off the top of my head, but it's built for internal tracking. It's also built for split testing as well to make sure there's no duplicates. But in your case, if you're looking at the top, you can probably edit it through the settings location at the bottom. But overall, your website's live. You have it defaulted to your homepage, right?
Yeah.
Does a number show up?
No.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter for you right now, but that's more of when you generate a page, it adds those numbers because of conflict checks to make sure it doesn't collide against any other URLs. It's internal tracking itself. And then for a lot more page splitting or split testing, there's a whole technical explanation on one of the support articles. But if it doesn't bother you, if it doesn't impact you, it doesn't make a difference. It's more meant for, because there's a lot of hierarchies of how the page is built. You have the funnel, you have the pages, you have the split testing, and you have to make sure it's not colliding with other pages.
Okay. So then my next question is, with that, right now, I changed a setting somewhere and it's really frustrating me. I used to be able to type in www.astroautomations.com/home/demo/whatever. And now it's just https://astroautomations, the www. I can't type that in anymore. And that's typically like what me as a customer, I type like www.google.com. Now my www is not working.
So that would be, was it working before?
Yeah.
That's just the redirect settings.
How do I fix it?
Go into settings, share your screen really quick. And go into settings and domains, and then go to redirects. So bottom left corner. Bottom left corner.
Oh,
Yeah. Go into settings and go to URL redirects. And is Spencer Specialties the one you want?
nope.
Okay. So you're gonna hit add redirect.
No, but are you in the right domain, the sub account?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's gonna be astroautomations.com, www. And then instead of putting the slash in there, you're gonna go to URL where it says URL. Right below that. You're gonna do all. And then you're gonna select the non-www and hit add redirect. There you go. Fixed.
Okay, great.
Thank you. And then while I'm sharing my screen, hi. I'm sorry, I know you weren't ready to wake up. Your brother woke you up. When I how about Courtney asks her question and you come back to me? I'm so sorry.
No worries.
Hey guys, I just have a quick question, and I think I'm just overthinking things, but I have a couple sub accounts on as SaaS clients, right? But I'm starting to do SWAS also, right? And I'm trying to wrap my head around the people that I've talked to that do SWAS. They're like, no, you just bill them for your service through Stripe, and then you just set them up on a sub account with no plan attached to it. Do you have any input on that? Like, why would I not want them on a SaaS plan, but then charge them for the service? Am I overcomplicating? Does that even make sense?
How do you plan on billing them?
Through Stripe.
And
Either way, if it's SaaS or SWAS.
so what's the difference to you?
I I don't know. I guess having them on SaaS plans, I guess, isn't that more beneficial GHL wise? I don't know. I don't know why it's in my head. It just seems complicated, and it feels like there must be one way over the other. But
No, I'm just trying to think through the logic. It's you have the
I don't
client.
have any logic. Just looking for best practice, I guess.
What is SWAS?
Software with a service.
Dan Doyle, go ahead.
To what Courtney's saying, like one of the things you might want to consider is just a basic difference. If it's a SaaS product, you can just put your sign up page and your payment page or send a payment link and the account's created. And if you're good at your snapshots and everything that's in it, and you wanted to create some onboarding like videos or what have you, depending on what the product is, if you're not doing like HUP and all that stuff, like SaaS simple for automatic account creation, as opposed to you having to manually go create a sub account if you're just doing like a subscription product.
Right. Yeah. But then
That's a big part of it. Same thing is if you want to label it as SWAS. I mean, if you're, I don't want to have to go create an account every time someone signs up.
yeah.
Yeah. There's some other parts of like rebilling and different things like that too, as far as, if you're going to be rebilling for usage, whether it's phone or email or whatever else, or I should
Yeah.
look at it as reselling. But I mean, that's the big difference, I think.
That makes sense. Okay. Thank you. I have one other actual technical question. So I have a client who's a residential painting contractor, and we're in the process of migrating over from HubSpot. But one of the problems that I'm coming across is the opportunities. So in HubSpot, we use line items because sometimes we might have 5 different options on the bid, right? And in HubSpot, you have different line items so that they can we either choose or don't choose those, right? But we have a history of them in the account. Coming over to GHL, we just have the total opportunity value. I don't have the option to add those different options. And so I'm trying to find a workaround that we can still capture that data that makes sense. And then she likes to categorize her projects like, this was a deck, this was interior, this was exterior, this was wallpaper. And so I'm thinking I'm going to do tags for those, but I'm really struggling with the line item concept and capturing that information.
Mario, that one's for you.
Yeah, so you can use opportunity custom fields to do that. That would be what I recommend, but to be honest with you, HighLevel is not set up to dynamically spawn custom fields based on like line items. So what you would best be suited to do is leverage a combination of automations and Google Sheets. And when the opportunity gets created, have it create a Google Sheet and then populate the line items in that Google Sheet after the list all the line items in the Google Sheet and then make that a VLOOKUP on another sheet so they can just quickly reference an invoice number or an opportunity number or a customer email, and then it show them all the line items associated with that. Because
with that specific opportunity.
Right. HighLevel really is only set up to do one opportunity, which is the gross opportunity value.
Got it. Okay. So like the base bid portion of it.
Right.
And that's probably fine. They use Paint Scout, which is where they put their proposal into, and that would have everything broken down also, and having that Google Sheets. I'm gonna have to circle back with you when we're actually ready to implement that, if you don't mind. I hear what you're saying, but setting it up, I'm like
we'll do that on one of our Monday or Tuesday calls.
cool. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
I have a quick question for you first. So the main focus of today's topic is SaaS and business coaching, right? And when it comes to starting a business, I've had a lot of discussions with people, and I want them to hear it from an expert. But why should they file a corporation versus be a sole proprietor?
Oh, that comes. So this is gonna be a little bit trickier because I come from Canada. My laws are a little bit differently when it comes to expenses and deductions, which I found out. But overall, I guess a simple answer, without getting into specifics of the difference of the taxes, is sole proprietor, you're fully responsible. You are the entity itself. So if something were to happen in any way, shape, or form, contract wise, liability wise, anything of that nature, it falls back on you. That's kind of the core difference when you are a sole proprietor. You are the entity, right? It's a low risk, but the risk is there overall. And if you're starting up, you don't need to get a corporation in the first month or 2 or 3, just kind of get going, get your feet wet. Don't let a corporation be a roadblock, because a lot of times at the beginning, I was like, oh, do I get a corporation, an LLC? How do I get started? Do I get a business bank account? And then there's all these expenses. I need to get an accountant. All these things cause paralysis for people to get started, gives them excuses to delay and delay, delay. If someone wants to pay you, who cares where it lands? Just take the money and get started. So if you're a sole proprietor, let it land in your bank account, get started, move forward. But once you kind of get your first client, and obviously depends on the type of clients you're landing at the beginning, get started right away, then work towards getting your corporation set up, getting things a little more official, because now when you have a corporation, it's much easier for you to, obviously, you have that separation of liability. That's number one. Number two as well is you can structure things effectively from a taxation perspective. If you have creative strategic accounting, what you can expense, what you can't expense, what's justifiable expense for the company. So this is where it varies, because obviously I watch a lot of stuff from the US. I'm like, oh, you can do all these things. So then I try applying the same stuff in Canada. It doesn't work. You can't expense certain things in Canada. I realized, but in the US you can get away with it. I couldn't believe it. So that's a simple thing. I would just say you obviously want to work to getting a corporation set up as soon as possible, but do not let that be a roadblock to get started. Because I've been on calls before in the past, people get so bewildered. Oh, what should I name my corporation? Then they sit there and think about it for a month or two. Call it ABC Inc. Obviously that's taken, but call it anything. It doesn't matter. No one cares about your corporation name except you. No one cares. Right? People try and get that perfect corporation name. I've seen it so many times. Then like, oh, they want to get the corporation name that matches the domain. No one cares. You see the domain, it could be a nice domain, but your corporation name can be completely different. They don't need to be in sync. There's no reason for them to be in sync, because you may have 10 domains after, but all held by one corporation. So it doesn't really matter. These are a lot of times people get bogged down on these little things at the beginning, which slows them down from getting started. When I first started up, when I got my first client, it's like, oh, how do I pay you? Just pay me directly. Just send me a payment. I'm good. Right? Then I'm like, okay, this is getting a little bit more serious. Let me get my corporation set up. But don't let that corporation slow you down.
What kind of liability, like if I'm a new business owner, right? And we'll talk specifically about like being a SaaS or SWASpreneur. What kind of liability do I have as a business owner? Because a lot of people like, are like, oh, well, I never need to file a corporation. Like, obviously, to protect your family and yourself, you always want to file a corporation to conduct business. But like, the reason I guess people is maybe they don't understand like what kind of liabilities they're exposed to. So like, what are some things you've seen in the past with SaaS and SWAS businesses? Like, what do you get sued for?
In the States, anything. Right? In Canada, not so much. But what I'm just saying in general is, if people can find a reason. Suppose you did something wrong in their business, the software you set up for them, or what you promised them, what you promised them. You promised to deliver on this functionality, you didn't deliver in time, and then they get upset because of you didn't deliver, you're in breach of contract, and oh, I lost all this money because of this reason. You set them up with high expectations. People will find a reason to sue you for that. Or you did something for them some way, you delivered a product for them, and it didn't fulfill the promise you gave them, and now they're going to sue you for their money back. Right? There's in marketing world as much, I wouldn't say it's the probability is there, but it's not as high because you're just providing them services in general. But overall, it's more about just giving you peace of mind to make sure you are separating entities, that if at any point of time you're not able to deliver anymore, you need to shut it down, you're not personally liable, and it doesn't carry on into your family life as well.
Yeah, I think having been sued multiple times, which by the way, guys, it's not fun. Having been sued multiple times for frivolous things that, and like first said, you can literally get sued for just about anything. And ironically, the onus is on you to prove that you didn't do it, or they default the judgment in most cases to the plaintiff. So you always want to protect yourself, and having a corporation is absolutely critical to doing that. Also, having good insurance is really important. Having good business insurance is like a huge safeguard, because you can actually get business legal insurance for like $50 a month or even sometimes cheaper, that the insurance company will hire the best lawyer. They have a lawyer on retainer that they can find to fight for you on your behalf. And it's like, you don't have to do anything. You just show up. And like, I had a situation where a client sued me for exactly what First said, breach of contract and them losing money. The scenario was this client did not disclose a bunch of critical components to how their business operated and what they needed, what they had expectations wise in terms of high-level integrations and compatibility with their system. And then the client never checked their email where the invitations were going for their appointments booking. So they were getting clients that would like show up to their office when they were double booked because they didn't connect their Google Calendar and a bunch of other things that they were supposed to do that we offered to do on their behalf. But they said, no, we'll take care of it. We'll take care of it. We'll take care of it. And my insurance company at the time hired a crazy awesome lawyer. And basically we showed up to court, and in like 10 minutes, the judge dismissed the case. So it's really important, but they could have sued me personally. And if I didn't have a corporation and corporation insurance, then I would have been personally liable for that situation, which is an absolute nightmare. And Dr. Terry Wagner, I believe, has some comments on this as well. I think this is your field, right, Doc?
It's one that I dabble in quite a bit because I know a lot of lawyers. I end up doing a lot of the work and then send it to the lawyer to look at it. But yeah, Hiscox is one of the biggest in the country for insurance. If you want it, they've got really affordable prices. But as far as that goes, the other couple of things that you got to watch out for, you got to think about when you're a SaaS company is, number one, data breach, because you have a lot of data. And then also about a use case. And if you have clients that are like HIPAA compliant or some other compliance, if you haven't got your compliances right, then you got problems there too. And so those are a couple of things that you really do want to think about, because people love to sue.
Yeah, it's crazy what people will sue you for in the US. So how does it work in Canada? You mentioned that like it's harder to get sued in Canada. Is it like, what makes it harder?
So I guess simplistically, it's just the burden over here. A lot of times you can just sue for any frivolous reason, right? In Canada, a lot of times judges will throw it out. It's like, you know what, you can't sue for that. It makes no sense. Throw it out ahead of time. That's one. Number two, in a lot of times in the States, from my experiences I've seen, is you can sue just on contingency quite a bit. Whereas in Canada, most lawyers don't take contingency. They want money up front. So you got to actually, if you're really serious about suing, you got to put money up front, put your money where your mouth is. So a lot of times lawsuits don't go forward because there's a cost over there. And other lawsuits is you cannot claim your expenses back from the other side either. So if you're going to sue, you better be suing for real reasons. I had to sue someone in my region I have to think twice about it because I'm going to sue them. It's going to cost me X number of dollars to actually get my lawsuit there. And how much am I going to make back? So you got to look at how much the return is, how much they actually owe. So sometimes it's not even worth the effort of going down that path. So there's a lot of ROI calculation before you go down the path of suing someone.
That's crazy. In the US, you can literally sue someone for just about anything and get all your money back plus more. Like, even if you're not in the right, just because they have to fight it and it's cheaper to settle.
Yeah, I've had people in the past. So I did software development in the past. We weren't able to deliver on time because they kept changing their scope. Like, look, it's gonna take us longer. It's gonna take you longer. Then it's like, you know what? I'm canceling the contract. I'm gonna sue you. I'm like, okay, if that's the case, I guess we end our conversation now. I'm trying to help you. We'll end the conversation now. Have your lawyer contact me. No problem. Monday comes, that was on Friday. Monday comes along. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was just upset. Like, I think she realized she can't sue that easily. It's not as easy as saying, I'm going to sue you because at the same time, I'm cross border. So if you're going to come cross border, you'll have to actually hire a lawyer in our region to actually sue in order, and then you have to put money up front as a retainer with your lawyer. So a lot more complicated involvement when it comes to cross border lawsuits and all that. So I already knew that. So I'm like, go ahead, sue me for $10,000. It's going to cost you over 20,000 just to try suing me. But, or we can have a reasonable conversation and let's get back to fixing your problem as what we wanted to do. All right. And she ended up staying and we fixed her problems and she was happy. And then eventually she's like, oh, I want to do more work. Like, no more. We're done. Go somewhere else.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think that, one of the things that is really important also is making sure that you just have your ducks in a row. And Dan Doyle pointed out something really good, which is have your terms and conditions in place and make sure that they are done properly, not just something you had ChatGPT write. Like termly.io is only $20 a month for getting a terms and conditions and privacy policy, or you can have a real attorney write them for you. And those are going to be something that protects your bacon like no other when it comes to lawsuits and things like that. But outside of that, for and moving on to maybe more like happy topic, can you talk about your experience in the startup world? I know it wasn't HighLevel related necessarily. You did have a pretty amazing HighLevel, or I guess you still have a pretty amazing HighLevel business. But can you talk about your experience working with like YC and being a startup and things like that? Like what did you find were maybe some challenges people can avoid, and what were some really beneficial or positive things you encountered?
So I guess that's interesting. So it's the parallel is going to be a little bit hard over here because we've evolved in the last 10, 15 years with AI, with the ability to hire freelancers all around the world. Like, it's never been easier for anyone to start a business now. It's so cheap. You just need a laptop and internet, you're good to go. Not even internet, laptop and go to a local coffee shop, you're good to go. You can start a business and you're ready to go online. As long as you have the drive, the energy, and willing to put in the more effort than the next person, you can hustle and survive. But starting up a business, I was starting up a fintech. I'm not the developer, so I had challenges trying to get a CTO, a developer on board. You got to pay out of pocket up front, so you need some seed money. So you're trying to build a software company. You got to put a lot of money up front to pay for your developers, unless your co-founder is a developer or a CTO, then they're willing to take, depending on their life situation, but then they're willing to forfeit a salary to get started. So in our case over here, myself and my partner, we were both business folks, marketing, sales, product. We can build the product, design the product, know what we want the architecture side, but we're not the coder. So we have to bring on board a coder. We hired a coder on contract, and then they were just dragging it out. It became one of those things like, this is what we want to do. Then they quoted us a price. We're like, okay, sure, we'll take it, no problem. But then they realized they underquoted based on the work they agreed to do. So now because they underquoted, then they realize they're not getting paid as much. Then they lose energy on working on the project. They don't want to work. Then the project starts delaying longer and longer. It was supposed to be delivered in 2.5 months. It took 5 months to 6 months to deliver because they just weren't as excited about the project anymore because of the amount of effort they have to put in. But that's something they're not going to tell you. They'll eventually you find out by asking, hey, what's going on? Why are things getting delayed? So eventually we brought on board, we had to start getting a little bit more seed capital from people, raise a little bit of money. So we had friends and family raise some money just to get the company, get the right, we just need a development team. That's what we invested in. So I didn't take a salary. My partner took a very minimal salary. We hired developers. Then we hired another developer. We tried getting interns. We tried getting, stagiaires, if you want to say, from universities. We just tried getting any opportunity we had to get dev talent. And we were on the mindset we needed it in office, so we need to find someone local in our region. Now, forget it. You can just tap talent anywhere around the world and be significantly cheaper. And we are paying market rates in our region. So this is where what I'm saying is if you want to do any work nowadays, it's so cheap to as long as you have the vision and you have the energy to drive it, you can easily launch any new company because you can find talent from anywhere around the world to work for you remotely. That's what has expanded that opportunity. So we launched I got it to a point where we had a decent not MVP, pre-MVP. The design was ready to go. We applied for Y Combinator, which is one of the accelerators in the US. They flew us down for an interview process. We didn't make the final cut. We were shortlisted, then missed the final cut. I was telling Mario that Sam Altman was in the other room interviewing other people at the same time while we're there. I'm like, hey, that's Sam. Okay, so it was a fun and little experience overall. At the same time, I brought on board certain mentors in the industry. So we had ex-CEO of public companies, they became investors in our company as well. I had connections at Google, Yahoo, eBay, Facebook, a bunch of those people were interested in investing in the company as well. So we had a lot of stuff going on in that space, but the company is still around. There was a more of an internal thing between myself and my partner. We decided to part ways, so he's running the company now. And they raise Series B funding, multi-million-dollar funding, and all that. So they're doing extremely well. But I've been through the ups and downs of partnership conflicts, hiring, firing, finding talent, scaling companies. From my previous one, I scaled company up to over 300, 400 employees overall, from in local plus opening up an offshore enterprise in India as well. Expanding sending people down there to train them on site, because if you're gonna open up an offshore location, you need to send someone locally down there on site, spend time with them, so they start understanding your culture, understanding how you communicate, understanding just how the company is meant to run. So I outsourced initially to a consulting company, and that was a failure because they weren't working for us directly. They're working for the consulting company, so we had no leverage over them. So when something goes wrong, they didn't really care. It was just an issue. Then the company would just say, hey, no problem, sorry, we'll get rid of him. Then they swap us up with someone else. Then we got to train that new person. So we decided to shift the style of actually opening up an office location offshore. So now they're working directly for us. They're part of our company. They're part of our culture. They're part of our ecosystem. And they would be an extension. They're not just, they don't want to be considered, that was a while back, but no one wants to be considered that that outsourced location. Or, that just where the extra people, the cheaper labor. No one wants to be considered that. We want them to be considered part of our team. You're part of our company. You are an extension of us. So whatever is going on, you're part of us, not just, the afterthought. So I've been through a lot of hurdles. Oh, I've sued people as well. And, I have crazy stories. I had to sue someone I had to sue a payment processor for a frivolous reason. He just didn't want to give us our money. That was it. He had money on reserve. We're like, okay, can you give us the money back? It's like, he just ignored us. I'm like, I need the money back. That's our money. And it was large figures. So eventually I sent him an email saying, I don't understand. You have zero grounds to hold the money. And I just don't understand what your rationale is. It's clear night and day. If you don't release it, then I'll be forced to litigate, and then I'll win. There's nothing special about it. So then I litigated him. Sorry, you said something?
I said, that's crazy.
So I litigated him. I hired a lawyer. This is a Delaware lawyer. He had a New York lawyer. after then we had to go through the motions, the paperwork. I got my first invoice of all the work. It would end up being like $45,000 invoice. So I freaked out. I'm like, oh my God. So then I'm looking at the numbers. Then I emailed him like, hey, so I just got my invoice for my lawyers. And I'm using Delaware lawyers. You're using New York lawyers. So for sure, you're paying almost 30%, 40% higher than what I'm paying. Can we just please settle this once and for all? He's like, yeah, I would love to. Then we got on a call. I'm like, why didn't you? Like you have no grounds. Like I don't understand why you would go through this process. Oh, I responded back to you. I can't believe you did this. He was angry at me. I'm like, I've never got any email from you. Then he like, I sent it. He went back and back. It was in his draft. He never sent me a response. So we wasted $50,000 because he didn't respond back to us, even though I told him about it many times. We won. We, in the end, long story short, he went into bankruptcy. We had a preferred right. I don't know what the term was, but we had rights. We already got court ordered. So we got a judgment. We won that judgment. Went in the bankruptcy process, and Delaware has crazy bankruptcy processes and laws, which is great. As soon as it got filed, we had a judgment already. He just had to pay it to us. As soon as there was something that happened a month later, it got into the public domain, the court domain. We started getting phone call after phone call after phone call to buy out our judgment, which I couldn't believe. Someone wanted to buy our, as soon as the judgment was $200,000, people are willing to give us 92 cents on the dollar. We're like, no, not interested. Someone else calls 95 cents on the dollar. Someone else called 98 cents on the dollar. Eventually, I think we got it down to 98 cents. I'm like, okay, we'll take it. They're paying us now because eventually they know the money's secure because of the bankruptcy laws and all the processes and liquidation on the US, on the bank side. They bought out our judgment and we got paid right away and we assigned the judgment over to them and everyone wins. We can believe it. So in the end, this whole unnecessary lawsuit, all because the guy didn't respond back to us, and we had 100% grounds and we won.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's one of them. I've had a few.
I
That's
did check
amazing.
my drafts folder just to make sure there's nothing sitting in there.
No, because in the end, winning a lawsuit or not,
$200,000 mistake, brother.
that was a mistake. It was a very costly mistake for that guy. But in the end, everyone loves to throw out the word, I'm going to sue you, I'm going to sue you, I'm going to sue you. But the problem, it's just like, threats all the time. I don't take it as a threat anymore. I'm like, look, if you're going to sue, it takes a lot of mental energy to sue someone. It's a lot of energy, right? You have to think twice about it because you have to then start building up your case. You got to prep the whole thing. You got to revisit the whole, whole engagement. What did you do? It's so time consuming. Then you got to hand over to your lawyers, and lawyers can take up calls with you. It's time consuming, mentally consuming, and financially consuming to sue someone. That's why, a lot of times, like I see people in the community talking about, oh, I have a contract with a guy, he doesn't want to pay anymore. I'm like, just let him go. It's like, just let him go. You don't want to be involved with some litigation unnecessarily. It's a waste of energy. $1,000, $2,000, how much is your time worth? Realistically, if you're going to launch a lawsuit against someone, it's going to take you minimum 30 hours or 40 hours of your time. And just mental anguish. Could you not spend that 20 hours doing something else differently?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
That's
not
really
saying
good.
I'm not saying you don't have grounds to sue someone, but just you gotta think twice about it. Like, don't enter in. Like, a lot of times as well, when I go into relationships or engagement with people, and everyone wants to sign a contract, I'm like, sign whatever you want. In the end, good luck enforcing a contract. Because it has to be, I go into a relationship with pretty much more of a handshake relationship because we have the contracts, but it's more of the relationship that I count on. Because if something were to break down, you're going to fall back on contract. It becomes a whole ordeal. I've seen cases that take 3-4 years to fight out. Is it worth the effort?
That's a really good point.
So when I go into relationships with people, I'm like, I don't care about the paper. The paperwork's there just because everyone wants it. Everyone wants to sign an NDA. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, good luck trying to make sure the guy. You can easily, bypass NDA regulations, all that stuff. There's so many ways, loopholes you'll find. But in the end, if you're gonna do business with someone, have a relationship with them, make sure it's there. We sign the paperwork because that's expected in the relationship. That makes sure everyone feels safe. But the main reason why you sign a contract, less the terms of the contract, but more they can fall back on saying, this is what I promised you as per our agreement. And when people are reasonable, they'll accept it. But when they're unreasonable, it doesn't matter what you say in the contract. If they believe they're right, contract be damned, they're going to come after you.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Well, awesome. So we've got about 9 minutes left. We can either close it out early or we can see if we have any questions. So I will open up the floor back to questions. Next week, we'll have some more topics and structure. We should also be having some more participants as well, which is going to be amazing. We have quite a bit of people on Facebook and YouTube watching right now, and we are going to continue amping that up. So invite your friends, invite your coworkers, bring as many people as possible. The more engagement we get, the more community feedback we get, the better these calls run. But does anyone have any questions, comments, or anything like that before we wrap up for the day? Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I got one. For Fur, and maybe you could do this next week or down the road on a coaching call, but if you were starting from zero in the SaaS space, AI space, whatever, in the space we're all in,
Yeah.
what would you do? Like, how would you go about it? Like, what would you put in place? Funnels, ads? You're just going to go out and knock on doors, all the above.
Yeah, that's a great topic for next week.
Cool.
We can dig into it a little bit more.
Well, I mean, I don't think he can answer it in 9 minutes. I hope not, or 7 minutes. I mean, if he's that good, if he's that good.
Yeah, that's what I think. It's a good topic to cover next week. What would you do? How would you get started, right?
I love that. Let's do it. So next week's topic officially is, I'm not gonna, I normally say ominous dominus. It's from a movie and it's a joke, but I said that to somebody and I went like this, and they thought that I called them a bad name. And for like months, this person thought that I disliked them and that I was calling them a bad name. And it was literally just me quoting a movie. I'm pretty sure it was Boondock Saints. But it was literally just me quoting a movie, and it's the priest or the Irish Catholic guys joking, blessing a situation. Anyways, I appreciate everyone for joining today. Thank you so much. For next week, we will have our topic of 0 to SaaS. And I am super excited about learning about that. Remember, everyone, we have 9 calls next week, starting on Monday at 5 p.m. with our open Q&A. Tuesday evening at 8 p.m., which is probably my personal favorite call of the week, is our advanced AI and integrations training. So we cover all sorts of stuff, how to link up third-party systems, how to use N8N, Make, Zapier, how to use ChatGPT, how to create SaaS accounts from a basic form, how to create blog posts from ChatGPT and auto post them to your blog at HighLevel. All kinds of stuff. Wednesday is our, we have our AI call, Foundations of AI, with Andy Audate's crew. And then we have our Town Hall and GHL updates. If you know Charles Higgins, or Charles, if you're watching this, nudge, nudge, hoping you'll co-host that one with me. Thursdays, we have our Snapshots call with Michael Pacito at 9 a.m. Eastern. Which is how to create a snapshot, how to document a snapshot. It's really, really a good call. He is an absolute genius. And then we have on Thursday at noon, we have customer service, retention, and best practices with Tim Sabir, owner of Go CSM. So he will talk about different topics every week, highlighting challenging situations with customers and how to handle them. And then Fridays, our power hours are starting at, I believe, 1 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. We basically domino through calls until 5 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. So keep that in mind. And Dr. Terry Wagner has a question. So what's up,
Wager, like a bet.
Wager.
Like a bet, yeah. Are these calls recorded? So if we can't make them, okay, yep. Where do I find those?
You would find those on my YouTube channel, and then I'm going to work on live posting them into the Facebook group as well. And you'll get an invite to a community. GHLcoaches.com was available, so I went ahead and nabbed it up and created a community on that site. So Yeah, expect to get an invite to a community. Those all get posted there as well. And without further ado, everyone have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy your weekends. I will see you all Monday.
Hey,
Thanks
Mario,
again,
Mario.
Mario, I had one quick question.
Yeah, sure. What's up, Andrew?
You posted all the new things. Are those going to be like updated, or is like Laura going to update them for the Go High Level or the HL Pro Tools calendar that like everybody? Yeah. Okay. And then last, I kind of messaged you about Kixie, but I couldn't figure out like the pricing. It just says like get a demo or whatever and meet with them. Should I still just move forward with them, or what?
I would go with, they're going to be your best bet. I want to say they're like a couple $100 a month
Oh,
for
okay.
access to it, but their power dialer is light years ahead of everyone else.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll let the client know then. That's like maybe give them a couple options, but I think that's what they need because they're using like a whole sales team.
Cool. Sounds good.
Thanks.
I did have a quick question for one of my clients who's trying to put shipping on their thing. They tried to connect Shippo and they're not having success with it showing up the way it's supposed to. Have you ever used it, or do you know of better shipping to
I use ShipStation.
ShipStation?
I use ShipStation, and I have ShipStation connected via workflow. And that's the route that I would go. I don't like Shippo.
I don't either, because I can't get it to work.
Yeah.
Is there a way you could show me how to do that?
Yeah, just book a call with me.
Okay, I'll do that. Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye.